What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Let's Talk Arrowverse video, and today we're going to be breaking down and discussing episode 2 of Stargirl, entitled Stripe. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, in last episode, if you don't remember, we just figured out that Pat was inside this giant suit of armor. So, once Courtney jumps onto Pat and they fly home in the armor, Pat tells Courtney exactly about what the armor is. And he actually reveals to her that Owlman has survived the attack on the JSA, and he's been secretly searching for the Injustice Society to try to destroy them. So, to help them, Pat created the armor, this stripe armor. But then what happened was when Rex, who is Owlman, he reached Blue Valley and he and his wife were killed in a car crash. So Pat came to Blue Valley, and that's where he met Courtney's mother. Then Pat tells Courtney not to look for Brainwave and to use the staff, but Courtney obviously ignores him. And we actually get a pretty cool scene, I enjoyed it, where she goes to her school home economics class, and she actually makes her new Starman suit. So, Stargirl suit, actually. She takes Starman's old suit, and she cuts it and makes it her own. Then, meanwhile, we find out that Brainwave had found Courtney's school ID, and he was using it to try to find Courtney. And there's actually a really tense scene where, we see Courtney sitting at lunch with her friend, forget her name, and her friend's actually FaceTiming with her mom and dad, because I guess she has no friends. Not really her friend, I guess she's going to become her friend, I'm pretty sure. But either way, Brainwave is actually the doctor working with this friend's mom. So if Brainwave had seen Courtney, then that would have been pretty bad. But luckily he doesn't, and he keeps looking at the ID trying to find who Courtney is. Then he decides to go. His name is Henry. Henry Sr. decides to go to the high school's open house. And the whole open house is it's a tense scene where Brainwave is searching for Courtney, and Courtney and Pat are searching for Brainwave because they both know the other person will be there. And it's pretty tense, but they're searching through the open house, they're looking for each other, and finally, Henry Sr. and Courtney confront each other inside an empty hallway, and Henry Sr. threatens to kill Courtney's mother unless Courtney, brings the staff back to him at midnight that night. So Courtney goes later that day and tells Pat exactly what he said, and Pat says that Courtney needs to stay home because Brainwave wasn't lying. He's actually going to kill her mom if they don't bring it. So Pat's going to go to confront Brainwave, and Courtney should stay home. But I think we can know what's going to happen next. So Pat gets in his striped suit. He goes to confront Brainwave. Looks pretty cool, but he's easily defeated. And right when he's about to get crushed, he's being crushed by two different cars, I think on either side of the striped suit. The striped suit's being crushed. Right when he's about to be crushed and about to be killed, Stargirl flies in with her staff, fights Brainwave, and at the very end, when she's lying on the floor and Brainwave actually starts to put his hand on her forehead and does some kind of mind trick with his powers, and it gives her a lot of pain, but Stripe is actually able to blind Brainwave with his headlights. Then Stargirl can grab the staff, and when she touches it to Brainwave's head, it makes some sort of short circuit with his powers, some kind of force field, energy field, blasts open, and he just falls over. But the result is that he's in a coma. And then Courtney asks Pat to work with her and become her sidekick. And first, Pat doesn't really want to, because last time he was a sidekick, he was the sidekick to Starman, and obviously we know what happened with that. But she agrees to become her sidekick, and he changes his name from being Stripe C to Stripe. Stripe actually stands for Special Tactics Robotic Integrated Pat Enhancer, and a fun fact that in the comics it was actually Power Enhancer, but I think Pat Enhancer is pretty funny too. So then we actually get to see when we see Brainwave, Henry Sr., who's in a coma in the hospital, we see his son, Henry Jr., who comes up to him, and when he finds out that he's in a coma, he gets really mad. And I think we're all thinking that he's gonna either take on his dad's powers or become a second version of his dad, so I think we're gonna see something along that line. And meanwhile, we see Icicle, who is the leader of the Injustice Society. He goes into the Injustice Society's headquarters, which is actually right under the American Dream's office. And he meets with his associate, Stephen Sharp, who is the president of American Dream, or he's some political official mayor person in Blue Valley. And he is also the magician, I'm pretty sure. And there, Icicle learns about Starman's successor, and he leaves it with a quote saying, "He's killed one Starman, he can kill another." So, I think that was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed lots of parts about it. I really enjoyed the scene where